So last night we had the first of our presidential debates, and if I could say anything, I would say I learned very little of substance during the debate last night. Okay, so President Trump was his usual self. I thought that he played very much so to the narrative that he's been trying to spin the entire time, which is that he's strong, and the way that he showed that was by shouting over the top of Biden. Biden, to his credit, was incredibly civil, which I appreciate, and I hope that we can see more of that in politics. I don't know if it's just me, but as I've gotten older, what I've experienced and what I've seen more and more in politics is a lack of civility. I'm not so naive to believe that people in the old days were more civil. In fact, you can go back into the 1800s and you can see instances where one senator hit another senator with a cane and hit him continually. So maybe it's a bad measure to consider history. I think as a person who has a background in history, I would say that history is cyclical. We're doomed to repeat it. I read one time a quote that said that children are petulant, they disregard their elders, they're more interested in technology than they are in respecting the old ways. And before I got to the end of the quote, I was like, that's totally true. That's the way that our world is. And it was a quote by Aristotle. So if we go all the way back to early Greece and think that things are so different now, I think that we lie to ourselves. That being said, the real question is, who won the debate? Isn't that what debates are all about? Finding out who's the better person, weighing out, their plans. I don't think this was that type of debate. In fact, what I saw in the debate last night was people trying to perpetuate and move along the narrative of their candidacy. So what do I mean by that? Trump is trying to tell a story in this candidacy about who he is and what he's done. Biden, in the same way, is trying to tell a story about who Trump is in a negative light, and Joe Biden wants to present himself as the better alternative to that. Now, whether or not you are on the right or whether or not you are on the left, it doesn't really matter in this case because you have to make a decision, and I think that Biden is the more centrist of the two, whereas Trump tends to appeal to the far right of his group. He's always talking about how Biden is going to take us into socialism. If you know anything about the actual application of communism and socialism, you know that it looks nothing like the freedoms that we currently have in the United States. If I could tell you one thing, it's be a critical thinker. Think about what's actually being said. Do some actual research. Don't listen to the talking heads. Totally ignore what Fox News and CNN are saying. Go find the data for yourself and make a decision about what you think. Both candidates are not here to tell you the truth, and by that I mean facts. They are here to sell you a version of themselves, because ultimately at the end of the day, people who are in politics are very rarely there because of altruistic reasons. They are there to be the decision makers, to wield power. I think you can see that if you impartially look at government, okay? People aren't doing it, because they want to meet the needs of other people. Those are people like Mother Teresa who are out serving physically, hand to mouth, the lowest and the most downtrodden people in our world, okay? Politicians are more often than not self-serving. They're interested in the me in the scenario. And how do I achieve the next level of power and recognition? Okay? Keep that in mind whenever you're listening to politics, and keep in mind also what the lens of your experience that you're looking at politics is. That influences so much what and why you think it. Think about who raised you, where you came from, what people are your friends and what people were your friends, okay? So if you come from a monoculture of either black, white, or Hispanic, or Asian, any of those, it affects how you view the world. None is right, none is wrong, they're just different, okay? Looking forward to the next debate. I'm looking forward to your comments in the section below. Hope you guys are having a great day. Enjoy the rest of the political season.